Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhon. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa and Master Dukten Tachi. Let's pay homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of the group practice today, Guru Padmasambhava. Homage to the 5 Buddha mothers, Sumo, Tanchen Katso, Tutten Siti, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples here. And over the internet, good evening everyone, how do you do? So today we practice Guru Padmasambhava Dharma. And we really pray to Guru Padmasambhava and all the protectors so that they can protect our True Buddha School disciples. Whoever that encounter difficulties or disasters or karmic sicknesses or anything inauspicious or things that don't go according to their wishes, I hope that Guru Padmasambhava and all the protectors can resolve all their calamities, sicknesses, and difficulties and miseries, that they all can be transformed into something auspicious and according to their wishes, and may they have health and longevity. Guru Padmasambhava disseminated the Buddha Dharma in Tibet for 50 years. And at the end, he transmitted all the pith instructions of the Buddha Dharma to Ishichoka, his Buddha mother or consort. Some were the lineage through Guru Padmasambhava, and some were Ishichoka's lineage herself. And Grandmaster received the most profound and secret empowerments from Guru Padmasambhava twice. Twice I received the most profound and secret empowerments from Guru Padmasambhava. So Guru Padmasambhava, we can say, is Grandmaster Lu's Guru. It's the same, no difference. that is a very deep and profound and secret lineage, a kind of lineage that's very profound and secret. We all know that he is a lotus born or emanated from lotus. He appeared as a baby on top of lotus at the Dhanakosha sea or lake. And there was a king who then brought him back or home. So a baby on top of a lotus, then of course he's and completely and entirely lotus youth or lotus born or Padma Kumara. Before the main Dharma teaching, let me first share a joke. Because everybody is so quiet. Someone was waiting for the microwave at 7-Eleven. And while he was waiting, he heard some soft music, so he followed the music and started to sing. So there was a girl next to him and said, "Did anyone ever tell you that you sing really nicely?" And he said, "No." But he was secretly pleased. And then that lady that continued and said, "Well, since nobody had told you, so don't sing then." So he must not have sung well. This was related to reality. The night breeze that have the breeze, the night air that you breathe is the same as the night air that I breathe. And the path that you walk on is the same as the path that I walk on. And according to the pandemic control, that means you're connected. So I have breathed in the night air that you breathe, and you have walked on the path that you have walked on. This is dangerous. There was a beautiful lady that added me in my Facebook, and then she looked quite good, but she had heavy makeup, so I agreed. And after a while, she sent a text and asked, "Do you want to see me without makeup?" And I tried to stop my fast heartbeat, and I replied, "Sure." Then slowly she took off her wig, took off her fake eyelashes, and then took off or cleansed all the powder on her face. And the fake, the iris to enlarge your eyes. And there it was, the familiar face of my wife. Nowadays, makeup is quite amazing. So married guys should be careful. I remember there was a joke like this. A wife, a lady, a missus, went to Korea for plastic surgery, and half a year later she comes back home. She came home and she wanted to give a surprise to her husband, so she did not notify him. So she got home, rang the bell, and her husband opened the door and looked at her for quite a while. And this wife smiled seductively. And the husband said, "Oh, my wife's not home. Come in, quick." That's a joke. Now we'll get on the main topic. A question from Taiwan, Lian Yao. Question from Taiwan. Dear Master, how are you? In Kaohsiung, once I received an empowerment from the Home Sound Tara, and her appearance is her right hand is the wish-granting mudra, her left hand is holding a lotus, and on top of the lotus there is bow and arrow. I would like to ask, why a Tara that perform Dharma rituals with sound and the home syllable, why she carries bow and arrow as her Dharma implements? Is it for attracting, or is it for the purification, enrichment, magnetization, and subjugation? So the home sound Tara had been transmitted in Kaohsiung Tai temple. So her image, in brief, is her body is yellow, one face, two arms, and she looks 16 years old. And she looks very beautiful. Her right hand is the wish-granting mudra, and the left hand is the lotus-holding mudra. And on top of the lotus, there are a bow and arrow, and the mantra. Om Tara Tutara Tura Hom Soha. So my answer, the Hom syllable, we all know about Om, Ah, Hom. There's 3 syllables or 3 characters. We refer to them as the highest 3 syllables mantra. Om has many explanations, and one of them is the consciousness of the whole universe, of the whole cosmos. And Ah represents the appearing yidam from the consciousness of the universe, that is Ah. The yidam appearing from the consciousness of the universe is Ah. And Hom is attainment, attaining everything. Everything is accomplished or attained. So, from the consciousness of the universe, the yidam is appearing and attaining everything. Or we can say that the Hom syllable means innumerable manifestations or transformations. So the Hom of the Hom Tara, Hom sound Tara, means that everything is attained. So the Hom can be white for purification, can be yellow for enrichment, can be red for magnetization, love and respect, and it can be blue for subjugation. And this disciple Lien Yao asked, but why her Dharma instruments are bow and arrow? Because the sound Hom can transform into bow and arrow. From one Hom character, it transforms into bow and arrow. And when the arrow is white and shot toward a person, that would be purification. And if they're yellow, that's enrichment. If they're red, that's magnetization. If they're blue, that's subjugation. So this is the answer to your question. They can be used for the purification, enrichment, magnetization, and subjugation. That's the meaning of the bow and arrow. which means you transform home character into bow and arrow of various colors for various functions. Like for attracting, there would be red bow and arrow. So they can be used for purification, enrichment, magnetization, and subjugation. So that's the answer to Lien Yao from Taiwan. Second question. From China, Lian Hua Yike. I sincerely pay homage to Grandmaster. Please resolve my questions. Thank you. There's a saying that say that a couple has similar level or amount of karma. Is this accurate? If one party of the couple is very diligent in their spiritual cultivation to eradicate karma and increase their blessings, and the other party is not cultivating at all, then after a period of time, would there be distance between them that eventually they would go separate ways? That's his question. So a couple has similar level or amount of karma. I've never heard this saying. Anybody else have heard of that? Anybody? Master Lian Wang is knowledgeable. He's never heard of it. And the ambassador also shook his head. And nobody else here said that they have heard of this. A couple has similar amount or level of karma. I've never heard of it either. Is the saying accurate? Well, I've never heard of it. How can I tell if it's accurate or not? And we have so many people here, so many masters and reference and disciples, but none of us have ever heard of it. Where did this statement come from? Please tell us first. Yeah. Send a note to the True Buddha Foundation and please write where this comes from. Who wrote it, is in which sutra or which treatises. In Buddhism, there are precepts, sutras, and abhidharma, but which one that stated this? Husband and wife. In Chinese, sometimes we say a couple. Yeah, it's play of word. Or you cheat each other. It's a homophone in Chinese. I've told this joke before. Xiaoming told his dad, I know your secret. And Dad said, let me give you $500. Don't tell my secret. Wow, this is so good. So he went to his mom and said, Mom, I know your secret. And Mom said, oh, I'll give you $1,000 and please don't tell anybody. Wow. He thought, ooh, this is good. So he told the postman that came, Postmaster, I know your secret. And then he cried. I mean, he shed tears and said, now you know who I am. And hugged Xiaoming and cried. And Xiaoming was puzzled. So it's hard to say that when you have equal karma, you become husband and wife. There's some that have a huge difference between them. There's a very famous song artist, Wang Li-hong. He lived his own life, and his wife wrote 5,000 words about him, Wang Li-hong. Have you read it? I'm saying that his karma is different for Li Hongwang. His voice was wonderful. His songs were really nice. I mean, he sang really well. He sings really well. I like his songs too. That's Li Hongwang's song. So bits and pieces giving happiness is sprouting. So he must have good karma in order to sing beautiful songs like that. But how about his wife, right? A different kind of life for her. She has the karma of giving birth to 3 children. She's very family oriented. According to what his wife wrote, he never takes care of the family. So of course that's different, right? So how can they have equal or the same kind of karma? No. They just have the affinity to get married, but their karma are different for 2 people. So his wife has given birth to 3 children and took great care of the family. Everything is for Li Hongwang. But what is the reality? Is it according to is it really like what the media spread? It's hard to say. So sometimes people become a couple although they have different kinds of karma. Not always the same. His second question. Someone said that when a woman gets married, that her fate and destiny will follow her husband's. Is this accurate? And if they get married, they get divorced, and she lives by herself, raising her kids, then her destiny would be affected by the feng shui of her own family or her ex-husband's family. What are you asking, Lian Hua Yi? This person. Now she's asking about feng shui. What? I heard the saying in Taiwan that a woman is the fate of vegetable seeds. So where you place the seed, then you would grow in that soil. So woman is the fate of like a vegetable seed. So wherever the vegetable seed is, it would grow accordingly. So her environment or the family that she enters would create a certain magnetic field or certain destiny. That's why the Taiwanese say that a woman has the fate or destiny of a vegetable seed. So it is kind of similar to the second question. Well, this statement is accurate. Once you get married, then your destiny will follow your husband's. Whether you get married or you're divorced, that's part of your fate. And once you get married to someone, then you start to intermingle with him. And then when you get divorced, then you stop the affinity. Or the affinity is gone. Not necessarily. So if you're always with your husband, then your husband's destiny and your destiny would be related. But once you get divorced, then there's no more intermingling. So if they are separated, then she will not be influenced by the feng shui of the ex-husband. She can create her own. So if you stay in this home, then the home has feng shui, and the burial places or tombs also have its feng shui. That's like a magnetic field that would affect the occupants. But if you leave the house, of course you will not be affected by the feng shui of the house. So let's just talk about houses instead of burial things. So if you have left the husband or the husband's house, then of course you're not affected. You will have your own magnetic field. So if she lives by herself raising her kids, will she be affected by the feng shui of her own original family or the ex-husband's family? No. so you influence yourself. Third question. You get married, but without clear-headed, and just due to karma, you get married, but you're not happy in the marriage, and due to the children, and also for the financial or economic condition, you cannot get divorced, but you cannot happy. What kind of practice should I do so that I can finish my marriage? So, are you a man or woman? It seems like you're a woman, but your name is Ike. It sounds like one blossom of lotus. You're asking about marriage. So after marriage, you're not happy, and because of issues with the children and finance, you can get divorced, but you can also live happily. What kind of practice should I do to end it? We have two magnetizing deities, and they are Guru Gule, Buddha Mother, and Ragaraja. So, what kind of dharma practice can she do to end the marriage? Any opinion? Use the pole to beat him. That's right too. Yeah, you should practice Mahabala, and you use Mahabala's pole to beat him until he runs away, or until he obeys you or listens to you. You're so smart. You use Mahabala's rope to tie the two of you together, right? Is that right? Is that what you're saying? How about if he also practices Mahabala? Okay, then I don't have to teach you anything. You can just practice Mahabala. So there's a Dharma sister here who teaches you to practice Mahabala, and then you use the Vajra pole to beat him until he leaves, because she wants to end it sooner. These 3 questions that you wrote are woman questions. But your name is Lianhua Ike from China. Okay. Doesn't matter whether you're man or woman. I wish you happiness. Vegetables, oil, salt, sauces, rice, and tea. They all fulfill. As long as you're here, everything is fine. wish everybody is happy. Now we will talk about the Vajra Sutra. Subhuti said, "World honored one, the real phenomena are non-phenomena. Therefore, the Tathagata named it real phenomena. World honored one, it is easy for me to believe, comprehend, accept, and uphold the sutra immediately upon hearing it. However, in the ensuing 500 years, it would be most rare for sentient beings to hear, believe, understand, accept, and uphold the sutra. Why? Because it is rare for a person to not have any view of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan. The phenomena of self is non-phenomena. So are the phenomena of others, the phenomena of sentient beings, and the phenomena of lifespan. They are all non-phenomena. Why? Only those who abandon all phenomena are called Buddhas." Subhuti said that. Today, I have talked about believe, understand, accept, and uphold. And the most rare. Which means the non-phenomena of self, the non-phenomena of others, non-phenomena of sentient beings, non-phenomena of lifespan. If you can accept and uphold that, that would be the most rare. Sakyamuni Buddha spoke on the sutra, non-phenomena of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan. Why is it the most rare? There are many religions in the world. Because never before there were any religious leaders that talk about this. Sakyamuni Buddha said, or talk about the non-phenomena of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan. That was spoken by Sakyamuni Buddha. There are many religions in the world. During the Roman Empire, what they believed in there was the Western Church, which is the current day Vatican in Rome, that belonged to the Western Church. And in the Roman Empire, there was also the Eastern Church. And they separated further and further. And the Western Church became the Vatican, then the Pope. And the Eastern Church became the Eastern Orthodox Church. And it is in Turkey and Greece. So there were the Western Church, which is the today's Vatican, and Eastern Church, which is the Eastern Orthodoxy. And that's monotheism, only one God, which is the God, the Lord, or Jehovah. And Christianity is due to the birth of Jesus Christ. And then he After he was baptized by John the Baptist, the heavenly gate opened, and according to the New Testament in the Bible, this is my beloved Son. John the Baptist gave baptism to Jesus in the river and poured water over him. And the Holy Spirits descended like pigeons on Jesus, and Jesus radiated light, and he started to preach the gospel, to preach the gospel. So in the New Testament of the Bible, there were the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So the 4 gospel books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the Acts of the Apostles, all of his apostles who continued to promote the Jesus teaching. When he was 33 years old, he went to Jerusalem, the holy city. That was still during the Roman Empire. And because Jesus' popularity and power got better, and he was charged of treason and crucified on the cross. So the governor or prefect of Jerusalem was called Pilate, Pontius Pilate. And he prosecuted Jesus to be crucified. At that time, Jesus was only 33 years old. So that's also monotheism. God and He's the Son. So Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Trinity. The Father is Jehovah, and Jesus and the Holy Spirit in union, the Trinity. So they believe in that, in one Trinity. Next is Muhammad. The prophet Moses, after taking the Hebrews, crossing the Red Sea, and wandering in the desert, and got to Mount Sinai. And God gave that piece of land to them, and that place is now called Palestine, the modern-day Palestine. So Jerusalem became the Holy Land for 3 religions. The first one for Judaism, second for Catholicism, and the third is for Protestants, and also for the Muslims. So there are 3 holy lands for the Islamic religion, Mecca, Medina, and Jerusalem. And Muhammad passed away at 63. When he was born into a rich family, and then it went poor, and then he became a shepherd. And then he worked on his own, put in his best effort, and with the widower he became to do camel business and became the leader. So this widower, who was 40, married Muhammad, who was 20. So the first wife of Muhammad was a widower. And the Islamic Muhammad had 12 wives. He had a total of 12 wives. Oh, I'm so envious. So in the Quran, or Al-Quran, they talk about one husband and many wives. A husband can have 4 wives, that's allowed. However, they also stress on one husband and one wife. Grandmaster has read all of Quran from beginning to end. Between Mecca and Medina, there was a cave. And Muhammad went into that cave and saw an angel called Gabriel who spoke to him, "You're the last prophet." Moses was also a prophet. Jesus was also a prophet. And he was the last prophet. And told him God's inspiration or revelations, and that was compiled into the Quran. That's about Muhammad. That is also monotheism. And the end result, according to Christianity, when Jesus comes again, if Jesus comes again, the souls will merge or unite with the dead body, and people are resurrected and follow Jesus to go to heavens. It was mentioned in the book of Revelation. Actually, it's the same for Muslims. When the day comes, the souls will unite with the dead bodies. If you're a Muslim, all the same, you will go to heaven together. When I was in the Bible school, I knew that in Christianity there's one heaven and one hell. And Muslim, and in Islam there's the same, one heaven. It's just different Chinese terms, one heaven and one hell. The same. Once you go there, human beings can never become God, because that's the God, one God. Human beings can never become God, but that's different in Buddhism. If you compare the different religions in the world, Judaism, Orthodox Church, Catholicism, Protestant, and Islam, if you see them, they all believe in one heaven, one hell, one God. And the Vajra Sutra is different. Why is it the most rare? It's not just one heaven and not one hell. It talks about the rebirth cycle of the 6 realms. So that's a big difference already. Heaven, Asura, human, hells, hungry ghosts, and animal realms. So rebirth in the 6 realms, rebirth cycle in the 6 realms. And the heaven is not just one. The heavenly realm of desire, the heavenly realm of form, and the heavenly realm of formlessness. So there are 3 heavenly realms. It's not just one heaven. But for the other religions, they only believe in one heaven and one God. one Allah. God is the same as Allah, which is the Jehovah. So then, of course, it is most rare, because only Sakyamuni Buddha can extrapolate it so clearly. Then that's why, of course, it is most rare. And not only that, he transcended the heavenly realms. He's gone beyond the heavenly realms. Anyone in the heavenly realms, according to Sakyamuni Buddha, will still need to be reincarnated once you used up your merits and blessings. And this does not exist in other religions. The other religions only allow one to go to the heavens, and that's it. And if you go to hell, you will be there forever, experience the suffering there. So the hells of Muslim, Christianity, Catholicism is the fire prosecutions in hell. So it's impossible just to have one heaven, one hell, and one human realms, and one God. That's monotheism. They only believe in one God. Buddhism is different. Buddhism destroys everything. The spirit of non-phenomena, non-phenomena of self, non-phenomena of others, non-phenomena of sentient beings, non-phenomena of lifespan. And lifespan represents time. The phenomena of sentient beings represent spatial dimension. Self, typically human being takes self as his center. In other religions too. But the Dharma spoken by Sakyamuni Buddha is different. The self is destroyed. And the Vajra Sutra speaks on the non-phenomena of self. So you destroy self. You destroy the self who has desires. The desires self. So all religions in the world have self. Only Sakyamuni Buddha spoke on the religion who has no self, if we refer to it as a religion. Otherwise, it is not a religion. A religion is just a name. Since there is no self, there is no self. Only Sakyamuni Buddha can speak on this. When there is no self, there is no desire. That's why. But there is self, there is desire in other religions. Only Sakyamuni Buddha said, no self, no desire. This is referred as the most rare. If you don't have any desire, if you practice until you have no desire whatsoever, then you're a sage. Then you're a sage. How come not? You have no desire. Because of desire, it becomes karma. So Sakyamuni Buddha said, all the Buddha Dharma spoken by Sakyamuni Buddha is so that you have no desire anymore. If you have no more self, you have no more desire. If you often think that you're empty, that self, I don't exist, then you would have no desire. And because you have no desire, all your behaviors and conducts would comply with the sagehood of the heavens and earth. And it is due to desire that you create karma. People that has no desire will not create karma. That's the no cause for birth and no cause for death. And without birth and death, that's everlasting life, and that is nirvana. It is different from the everlasting life of other religions. That's why this is the most rare. So only Grandmaster Lu can explain what is the most rare. Buddhism talks about the 5 poisons: greed, anger, hostility, delusion, doubt, and pride. Money, looks, fame, food, and sleep, those are all desire. You need to break them all. Money, looks, name, food, and sleep, you have to break them. And greed, hostility or anger, delusion, doubt, and pride, you have to break them all. You need to get rid of them. Then you have no more desire, then you have no more karma, then you enter nirvana. Nirvana mentioned in Buddhism is the everlasting life. No cause for birth and no cause for death. This is spoken by Sakyamuni Buddha. So this is called the most rare. So I often use this analogy of the moon. There are no human beings on the moon. Since there are no human beings on the moon, what is good, what is bad? There is no good, no bad. When there are no human beings, how could there be good or bad? And on the moon, what do you desire? If you're by yourself on the moon, what would you desire? You would not have any desire for money, looks, name, food, and sleep. None. Nothing's there. Sakyamuni Buddha said that when nothing exists, that's the real phenomena. Chinese emperors or emperors in the Middle Kingdom. I'm not talking about emperors. Or the yellow emperor. Changes. Ask Guangchengzi about the Tao, and the Chinese sage Confucian also seek advice from Lao Tzu about the Tao. And Lao Tzu and Guangchengzi spoke the same words: ultimate nothingness. You ask me what is Tao? The Tao is ultimate nothingness. The meaning, 自虚, which is ultimate meaningless, that's the Tao. When nothing exists, that's the Tao. Since nothing exists, that's 100% purity. There is no desire whatsoever. That is 100% sage. 100% sage. That's why the Vajra Sutra is indestructible. That's why it is a diamond. Some Westerners call it the Diamond Sutra. The most expensive indestructible. The Vajra Sutra is indestructible. When nothing exists, how can it break down? Only when there is existence, the existence breaks down. If you have self, this self will age and die. And all the karma created is the cause for your rebirth or reincarnation. When you practice until you reach no self, you will not break down. Then you would attain everlasting life. That's what it means. And according to the Buddhist Sutra, when you have desire, you will have karma. That's the reason why I study Buddhism. Because what Sakyamuni Buddha said is different from other religions, from what is said in other religions. So this person would be most rare. Of course, it's the most rare because he has nothing. He has no desire. It's sage without desire. It has the lifespan as heaven and earth. Why is the soul still attached to the physical body in order to go to heaven? The soul can go to heaven directly. In Islam, it's said, why do you want to place a cross on the tomb? Because when Jesus returns, then the physical body can be resurrected and merge with soul and go to heavens and always maintain their youthfulness. I don't know what age, but always young. And they always maintain that age. But when you die, the physical body has rot. How could there be physical body? So the souls can go to heaven directly. And the Buddha has said that the physical body has no use. And we age, continue to age, and eventually we die and we become ash, and that's dirt. Return to dust. So why didn't the souls go to heaven directly? Why do they have to merge with the corpses? It's written in both Al-Quran and the Bible. So we are discussing all different religions in the world. The Buddha said you need to eliminate the self and transform it into the everlasting and pure body. We can say it this way. In other words, when you don't have any more desire, then you live together with the heaven and earth, and that is the realm of nirvana. So this kind of person is extremely rare. That's all I can explain. That is the first and the most rare, because there's no self, no karma, no cause for birth, no cause for death. So he is everlastingly present and non-coming. 不来。Why? Because this person does not have any view of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan. And why? Because the phenomena of self is non-phenomena. Because it can break down, right? So that's why it's non-phenomena. It doesn't exist. And phenomena of others, sentient beings, and lifespan are all non-phenomena. So all the human beings, time and space are also non-phenomena. Why? Because only those who abandon all phenomena are called Buddhas. When you abandon or discard this phenomena, and when you're 100% pure, then you're a Buddha. That's what we'll talk about today. I was walking past by a watermelon field, and I had this bad thought and stole a watermelon, and I was found out. And the farmer kept chasing after me, and I thought, oh no. And yet the farmer finally caught up with sweat all over, and friend, there's what's that called? Insecticides on the watermelon, so you have to wash it clean before you eat it. So the farmer was very kind, not catching him, but to remind him, but that there are a lot of chemicals and pesticides on the watermelon, so if you want to eat it, you should wash it first. When the causes and conditions occur, you cannot stop it. I've been buying breakfast for a very attractive female co-worker, but after a month, I'm together with the person who sells the breakfast, not with the co-worker. So these two jokes show there's desire. The first joke talks about the desire for food, stealing the watermelon to eat at home. And the second joke is the desire for lust or sex. So there's always desire there. So because there's desire, that's human world. If you have no desire, that's the sage level.